Hello and welcome back to Studio Breakbulk. We're very pleased today to show you and do a first introduction on the government and defense logistics. And if you go through our magazine, you will find a dedicated article talking to some of our specialists in the industry. With me today we have Pat Roche. Um, Pat Roche is known by the industry both on the civil side and the government and defense side. And I will let Pat talk to his multi-diverse background and where we are today. Pat, welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Faisal. Appreciate being here.
So Pat, tell us a little bit about your background and how on your civil side and with the government and defense you have been able to achieve a quasi-perfect integration and how we can showcase our audience how to capitalize on that.
Okay. Well, I started my career at sea as a merchant mariner. I went to the New York Maritime College, got out of there, sailed for a while, and then came shoreside and was working in project cargo logistics while I signed up with the United States Navy. And the Navy turned into quite the adventure because I was redesignated as an intelligence officer, which ended up with several deployments into Iraq. So I've had up to, officially 4 deployments in Iraq where I was there for anywhere from 3 months to 14 months. And that perspective gave me a very good view of just what my business of logistics does and what it looks like in a theater of war. So just a fabulous kind of experience that I've been fortunate enough to
That
live
is
through.
fantastic. I think this led to your current professional activity where you're spearheading government and defense logistics and then in specific niche environment. It'd be great to hear from you and your take on where the defense and government logistics sit today. Challenges are rife from knowing and understanding how to subscribe, how to reach or access that business. What does one need to fulfill? What should we really take into account?
Well, there's a lot of information out there that if you sign up with sam.gov or you sign up with the different various portals, the government portals, that's all you need to do, sign up and just sit back and wait. And that's not the case. Even some of the certifications that you get, like my company is a service disabled veteran-owned small business, and that's an SDVOSB, and it's a very good, category of business considered a disadvantaged company. And so there's a lot of set-aside work from the government to these small disadvantaged businesses. It doesn't mean that it comes automatically. There's no silver bullet. So the registration and the certifications are step one, and then the real work starts from that point. But it's getting your name out there and getting your capabilities out there with the added advantage of having this characterization of a minority-owned company or a female-owned company or a veteran-owned or disabled veteran-owned. So it does help, but it's not a silver bullet by any stretch.
So the government being a vast empire of opportunities, for our friends in the freight forwarding, global and domestic, what should be the first question to answer for oneself to identify, am I a fit to go after this business or not? And how should I identify what to go for?
Well, there's a lot of contractual challenges that come with it because many corporate or commercial companies, they're not very comfortable with some of the contractual language. The legal departments go back and forth between the forwarder and the customer or the carrier and the customer, and it's a red line after red line after red line. You negotiate till you get to that happy space. When you're dealing with the government, that doesn't happen. It's like you have to be okay with all the rules set forth by the government and all the legalese that goes into those contracts. And it could be anything from liquidated damages. It could be delays in startup. It could be, we want to come look at your books at any given time, something like that. So there's a lot of things you have to consider. So that's one thing. And the other is just, am I a fit? Can I do what the government needs? Because the one thing we cannot forget is that the government has vast resources. They've got a vast logistics network, but they still can't do everything. They need their commercial partners to make it all go smoothly.
That's great advice. For our audience, because a lot is, of course, not generic, but theoretical, and there's a lot to uncover. Do you have any specific example that highlights or points out to what you just mentioned to us?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of evidence of where it works together, and it shows the need for both. And I'll give you an example. I can't talk specifics of where my destination was, but getting cargo into a theater of war, into a specific area of a theater of war, the customer had the option to use military transport, but we needed speed and we needed flexibility, and you don't always get that with the military options. And so we were able to develop a full commercial option from the United States into a contested area where we had to find, and we had to kick it old school and find out where exactly we can put our cargo and stage our cargo safely. And it was amazing what we ended up doing, but it's a pure example of the government could do this, but the customer and the DoD needed it done more quickly than what was being offered by the military side. So the commercial folks were able to come in and we were able to put a solution together, make it more efficient and with a little bit more flexibility.
That's a great example. Well, I think this is very valuable for our audience, and here on the floor, where there's a lot of expert niche, both niche and global expertise available. So I'm sure this will help them. Again, for our audience, first off, government and defense logistics, a dedicated section in the Breakbulk magazine and in the organization. Please do read up and reach out to us. We're happy to answer any questions. Thank you.